Hello there and welcome to the Wandering Wolf YouTube channel. I'm your host, Mark Rhodes, and with me, as always, is my friend and fellow Wolves lifer, Mr. Craig Fullwood. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Rhodes. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm very well. Oh, always good seeing your face, mate. It's a bit different tonight because we are doing a preview of the clash against Burnley. That's on Sunday on BBC One, no less. And we thought we'd get a Burnley fan on there. Not only a Burnley fan, he's the presenter of the CricketFieldEnd YouTube channel, and he's a top bloke. I've just been on his YouTube channel, and we chatted for over an hour on the way that Burnley play, the way that Wolves play. But Dan, nice to have you here, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. I mean, as you well know. It's good. I enjoy doing stuff like this, and honestly, thanks for having me on.
That's a pleasure, mate. It's a pleasure.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we start with, it's been a strange season for both clubs for different reasons, I suppose. It's been kind of an up and down season for Wolves. We always say this, don't we, Craig, about it being a transition.
Such a weird season. Such a weird season.
Especially with no fans in. It's been there's always going to be an asterisk put on this season. But what I want to know, Dan, is how you would sum up Burnley's season. Is it the way that you thought it'd go? Do you think that you're where you should be? And do you think you are going to stay in the league? That's the biggest question, I suppose.
Staying in the league, yeah. I mean, beginning of the season, I didn't think it. The way we started, I thought there's a good chance here that this is the season that we can ultimately take that plunge and go down. We picked up middle of the season, sort of give us some sort of strength to believe. But it's typical Burnley. That result can come out of nowhere, spur you on. I mean, we only have to look back at the season before. I mean, the season we had Joe Hart. We ended up, Tom Heaton came in after that, after he came back from his injury. I think it was against West Ham. And we ended up staying up that year because that sort of belief, and the back four had that belief in the team. I always look at us as a team that if one player gets injured, we're not a team that will limp over the line. If one player gets injured, and it doesn't even have to be a crucial member, it's one of those that will it could really dent our season and our hopes of staying in the division.
Yeah.
We are like yourselves. We have got such a depleted squad. We are, at the bare bones. We have probably got, they say name a 25-man squad. We could probably name 23.
Wow.
It's that sort of thing. I'd love us to make penultimate signings and be able to, be like yourselves, make a few, bring a few foreign lads in, because we're not known for that foreign market, which it's hard for us. But our season as a whole, hit and miss, good and bad, yin and yang, tomato, tomato. I mean, I think for me, obviously, we began this season with a lot of injuries. In the summer, missing Ben Mee was massive.
Massive player for you. Yeah, big one.
100%. Ben Mee again, alongside Tarkowski. I mean, can I just say as well, Ben Mee is an unsung hero. He has had the likes of Michael Keane, Michael Duff before him, and then Tarkowski came in.
Yeah.
And he has made them the players that they are. So how he's overlooked for England, I do not know.
Oh, it's a nonsense.
It is ridiculous. But then yet again, there's room for loads of players that have been overlooked by England over the years.
I agree.
Which is probably why Harry Redknapp probably hasn't took the job and, picked people based on performance. But yeah, our season as a whole has been so up and down. Not known whether you're going to get a result one week or whether you're going to get a trouse in the next.
That kind of rings true with our season as well.
I'll be so happy. I'll be so happy when it ends, as long as we're above that 17th line at the moment. That for me, this season it has got to go down. I mean, we have had a change in ownership during January, well, back end of December. Prior to that, I think that also spilled onto the pitch as well. Darsh's rift at the time with the then chairman, Mark Garlick.
Yeah.
Things do obviously filter down, and you do sort of feel that you can sort of get that sort of sense when you're watching the games as well. But it's not like Darsh to come out and sort of criticise, like backhanded criticise without losing his job. And he did. And now at the moment, we've got a chairman who has said all the right things since coming in. I know he's an American owner, but he did not back the Super League, so we'll set that.
Well, we'll come on to that.
But yeah, I think for us this year, it's penultimate that we have a good pre-season. We managed to strengthen in depth, because last year we spent this season we spent 750k. If that
is that it, really? My God, how have you stayed in this division?
We signed a third choice goalkeeper that was on loan at Ipswich the season before, and Dale Stevens from Brighton, who Dash wanted 4 years ago from Brighton. He handed in a transfer request, said he wanted to leave because Brighton won the Championship. I want to play Premier League football. Brighton ended up getting Premier League football at the end of that season. He came out and started singing Burnley's and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And the video's there. There's proof on YouTube and everything else. Go check it out. And now he's at Burnley and he's done nothing. He's been absolutely dire. I mean, it speaks volumes. This is a player who wanted 4 years ago that could potentially have made a difference. Now he's at the back end of his career that's sort of looked at Burnley. I'm not getting much chance at Brighton. Final payday in the Premier League.
Yeah, there is that, mate. There is that. I think you sum it up perfectly there about it being a season where if you get 17th, it is going to be a good season for Burnley, considering what you have spent. Like Sean Dyche, for me, I don't know how you feel about it, Craig, but for me, every single season that he keeps you up, he's got to be up there for manager of the year, hasn't he? Like for doing stuff on a shoestring budget like he does.
Well, for me, Burnley are one of those clubs. I mean, I don't really pay great attention, but they can either finish, obviously not in the bottom three, somewhere near the bottom, or they could go and finish 7th, 8th, 9th.
Yeah.
And they've got potential to do either.
Yeah.
And I think you just said there, Burnley can have a run of games and then all of a sudden go and win a game that they should never be winning.
Absolutely.
But they'll go and lose a game that they absolutely should win. But they're so well organised most of the time. They're such a tough team to play. They seem to scrap it out, with the best of anyone. And just while you were talking there, I was just like making some mental notes, and I thought, do you know what? They are such a well-run, well-managed club. And
I
honestly, you
agree.
talk about a shoestring budget, mate.
Nuts.
If you try and sort of look at Burnley and look at Wolves and what we've got in terms of Mendes and Nuno and the ownership and where we are and what our fans are calling for the manager and all this, you look at like Burnley and Sean Dyche, like what a job he's done.
He's
unreal.
But
unbelievable.
He continues to do it though, doesn't he? Though
he's incredible.
The other day that there's 2 or 3 teams in League Two that have spent more money than Burnley did in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I can imagine it. It's ridiculous. But
it's mad.
You are like you're not even. You're not bottom 3. You said
not going down.
Not finish 17th. That's fine. Really, you Premier League.
Yeah.
Crack on again. But I don't know how you feel about this, but obviously, so again, you say you finish 17th. Do you want some? Obviously, a stupid question. You obviously want more investment, but is that coming now with a new owner, or do you think Dyche is he going to move on, or can you keep him, or what would you like to see? Would you prefer to keep him, or?
I mean, Dash has got a year left on his contract. He's got a year left on his contract, so something needs to be done. I think he came out in the press, in the local press recently, and said that people at boardroom level they've pitched the idea that they want him to stay, but for him, he wants to get the season out the way first, make sure there's solidarity in the league.
That's fair enough.
Then focus on his contract. Which, I totally agree with you, Mark. At the end of the day, he's putting his career on the back burner. He's sacrificing himself for the sake of the team, which you'd expect from any leader, and that's great to show for the players. I mean, he is a remarkable manager.
He is remarkable. Yeah, he's remarkable.
When he joined us, I thought, hold on a minute, this is a guy that's had about, there's more peanuts in a bag than there is minutes he had as, Watford manager. It's sort of, it's absolute madness, and we've employed him. But then it was a case of give him a chance. God, this team, we got promoted, came down, and then got promoted again. At that time, we came down. We could have at the time said, "Nah, that's it. We're going to take another direction." But we stuck it out, and he took us back up, and then he took us to Europe.
Yeah, that's just insanity.
I mean, he's the longest-serving manager in the Premier League. That goes without saying. I think to answer your question, Craig, it's a bit. It's tough because you're looking at the likes of Roy Hodgson at Palace, who's
I was just going to ask you this.
Yeah, nearing the end of his career, and Palace is a club that, for me, I don't know. I look at it and think,
isn't that sideways? Yeah, sideways. Like what?
Sideways. It reminds me of the Owen Coyle to Bolton situation when we went up.
Yeah,
I thought that was a sideways move based on at that time where both teams were in the division. And former players have come out and said if Coyle would have stayed with us, we'd have probably stayed up that year because of the belief that we had in the manager. It does spill out to the manager, and I'm glad that we've put that trust and faith in him, and it's needed. And it's like you touched on in our podcast, Mark, that it's the similar situation with yourselves that Nuno needs to be backed.
Oh,
don't even let Nuno think about. 100%. Don't even let him think about Spurs. The only time he should be thinking about Spurs is if you're playing them on a Saturday.
Absolutely.
That's the only time he should be thinking about Spurs.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's come out and said as much today, to be honest, thankfully.
I don't think he is going. Yeah, I
don't think he is.
Well, he said he signed a contract. He signed a contract, and for him, that is very important. Because he has come out and said, I didn't sign this contract on a whim. Like I read the terms. Like this is for him and for Fosun, who own us. This is a long process. They want us to be a top 6 club playing in Europe, and like that can only happen for me personally is if we keep the manager with us. And like I said to Dan on your podcast, and I asked him the question about like, how do you feel about some of the fans that are calling for Nuno's head?
I don't understand it.
It's like,
I really can't get it.
Yeah, but you must be looking at that, Dan, and thinking, are these guys mental? Be careful what you wish for. And that's what we're preaching really on here.
Yeah.
Like, be careful what you wish for, man, because who are we going to get in? What job are they going to do?
Yeah.
How is it going to be better?
I've seen a lot of people thinking because of the
side.
Portuguese background, you've got a lot of Portuguese players. A lot of people are putting the 2 and 2 together. Oh, well, we've got that Portuguese background. Would Mourinho come in? No, I mean, why are you even thinking that? It's like our fan base. Our fan base.
Have they not seen Mourinho's last 3 jobs?
No, exactly. What? He's on the way down. Nuno's on the way up, and like I really think that it's like they're saying it because
who's going to win the Champions League next, Nuno or Mourinho?
Nuno.
Yeah. Nuno.
If you had to pick out the 2, Nuno.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. And I totally believe that.
Yeah, I really do, and like it's hard sometimes because I know everybody wants change, but sometimes the status quo is the way that it should be, and that's the way you're going to get the best out of your team. With Burnley, I think that's true. Sean Dyche is a really, really good manager for Burnley. I know I've touched on this before, but is it because the reason Burnley play the way they do because of the personnel that they have, or would Sean Dyche play a different way if he had a bigger transfer budget? Now,
it'd be interesting to see him at a different team. I always think somebody like Arsenal be great to see somebody like Sean Dyche in there. What could he do? It's an interesting point that you say there. Like, would he change his style of play, or is he a kind of one trick, set up very difficult.
It's like me and Mark said though. I think Spurs would probably be better because of the way they play. That they've got more of, they've got that big lad up front in Kane, which would probably suit Dash down to a T.
Not for long.
No, true.
I
mean, you look at Arsenal and you think they sort of try to emulate the Barcelona of the late 90s, the early 2000s, They try to emulate that style of football. I mean, you only got to go back.
They try, bless them.
Yeah.
But it's like a watered down version of, like, I know that team was like unbelievably good. Like some of the players, like Henry, Bergkamp, Freddie.
Yeah, but they're like Blackburn fans.
Yeah.
They bring up 95. We won the league. No, you bought the league. You bought the league. That's what you did. Arsenal, you had an invincible season. Yeah, you had an invincible season, and then since then, nothing. You've dropped off. Yeah, you've done nothing.
Yeah, we all have our time.
Revolution went.
We all have our time in the sun, and I think we need.
Not me. I'm ginger.
Don't go out in the sun, Dan. Don't go out in the sun.
I'll end up looking like your wolf top.
Which one?
There is a contrast, isn't there?
There is a contrast, mate. Yeah, definitely. But I just think, look, Wolves and Burnley. When I feel like on Sunday we're going to see a game against two teams that I know we've won 2 on the bounce, Craig. You'll testify to this, but we are pretty short on confidence at the moment, and the way we're playing, it's not going to be expansive. We're always asking for this expansive type of football, but against Burnley, against yourselves, like it's got a score draw written all over it, hasn't it? Really, or a 0-0 draw.
It's got a 0-0
Yeah.
It's either going to be 0-0 or 3-3.
Yeah, and they just go, sod it. Let's just go, just go free.
I mean, all we're setting up to do is not concede. Yeah, but we can't score. But you guys are probably the same. I don't know. You probably need the point slightly more than us. I don't know, but would you take a point now? I think I'd probably take a 0-0 draw now.
No matter what. Away from home, on the road, I'd always take a point, no matter what. Prior to a kickoff for an away fixture, a point on the road is massive. You've got to look at your home fixtures being as your catalyst for staying up.
Definitely,
especially when crowds, when bums are on seats in stadiums.
Yeah,
that's vital, because for teams like ours, to have that 12th man behind you turns those draws into wins, them losses into draws.
Yeah, same.
It's massive, absolutely massive, and it's what's been missing. It's probably why we are where we are. And
we've struggled with that as well, big time.
Yeah. I mean, have you just come off the back of updating the stadium? I think you've updated that corner, haven't you, that went round a bit?
Yeah, we've put a few more thousand in, and it's up to like 33,000 now. Which
that's a pipe dream to us. Yeah. That's a pipe dream. I think we're only on 21,000, something like that.
But isn't that how many people actually live in the town of Burnley, though? It's like it's not the biggest place in the world, is it? It's like you've got what was it?
Lovely part of the world there.
It's like, I remember going with a friend of mine. I think you were playing Charlton, and he took me to Turf Moor, and it was probably one of the best atmospheres I've seen.
Time, isn't it?
It really is. It's like old stuff.
It's just like right there. It's just right there. And you're just driving back, and there it is, man.
Yeah, it's
a lovely setup.
Yeah, it is. But like I'm saying about like the founder members of the Football League, and we'll touch upon the European Super League, and we'll get your thoughts on it now, because as part of the 14 teams that obviously aren't part of the Big Six, we're knocking on the door. They're not opening it yet. They're shutting it firmly in our faces at the moment. But how do you feel they should be treated? Because we go back in time, Wigan had a massive points deduction, Bolton, Bury, all these teams that have these massive points deductions, and nobody said, oh, we can't do that because, it's not the fans' fault, is it? But now it's the Big Six teams, people are saying that, and it's another aspect of one rule for one, and one rule for another. I'd like to get your thoughts, Dan, on what you think, and you, Craig. Like, what do you think would be a suitable punishment for those 6 teams?
It comes to something when teams, fans of Man United, fans of Man City since 2009, have pretty much even come out themselves and said, yeah, by all means, fine them, deduct some points, do this, do that. When your own fan base is going against the hierarchy, then I'm not being funny, but I think that screams volumes.
Yeah.
Fan power has won, but it's not. I mean, they've won the battle, but they've not won the war.
Yeah.
Agreed.
They've stopped the Super League. Yeah, okay. You've got the 2 Spanish clubs still trying to, but we're still going. You signed a contract. You signed this. I could sign a contract at work and walk out tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's one of those.
Was the Super League
need to be heavy
smoke
punishment
screen to do something else?
Yeah.
So as it looks less harmful. The next
Is
idea
it a bribe?
Is
it a bribe? I touched on with Mark that it's a sort of situation where the guy at UEFA has come out and said there's liars, there's snakes, there's this. He's come up with big, bold statements that
massively,
could affect people's careers.
Yeah.
And yet now it's a case of well done for taking a step back. Welcome back to the Premier League. I mean, BS.
Yeah.
Big, massive BS.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not fair.
Well,
it's not fair. Like you say,
in my
Bury,
personal
Bolton
opinion,
and Wigan should be. I'd be spinning as a fan of them, thinking if we was up there and had multi-millionaire backing, would you have done the same to us?
Yeah, I agree.
They wouldn't have done. They wouldn't have done. Bury no longer exist. Darlington no longer exists.
That's so true.
AFC Wimbledon didn't even have a team until a few years back, and they've started to climb the ladder to the point that a team started as a franchise to try and build up their thing in MK Dons.
I mean, for me, I'm quite passionate
about
teams going out of existence when there's so much money flying around. It's an awful, man. Like they should have, if every single player gave up, and I know you shouldn't have to because it's your contract, it's your money. Like you wouldn't probably do it at work, but if you're on that sort of money, even if you said, right, I'll give up a day's pay, every single Premier League player gave up a day's pay, Bury'd still be probably here.
Yeah,
that's how much money, and it's not right. It's not
but mate, the issue is that with the top 6, this is one of the reasons why they signed to this European Super League is that they are bleeding money. Like they are million,
they are
sometimes billion
that's
debt.
That's their own fault. It comes down to, well, it's their own fault. They're paying, what they're paying Pogba a week.
Oh, nonsense!
Stuff like that.
That's a nonsense.
You think, I get
didn't they come out on Sky Sports
as sort of leveled a lot of things, but
I'm sure they came out on Sky Sports and said something about that the Super League would be beneficial more to the other leagues because they'd still make 92%, but 8% would filter down.
Wow.
What is 8%? I'm not being funny. That's ridiculous. That's nothing.
That is like that's a tip of the iceberg though, and I think we need to brace ourselves as football fans because
it's not the end, is it?
It's not the end because what they're doing is they're testing the water. They're testing the water, and they've been knocked back. But I think we're going to.
The thing that got me was the apologies that got me. They were so pathetic.
Oh, it's nonsense.
I mean, Liverpool's statement. I know that.
Well, Daniel Levy still hasn't done it.
Said anything. He said nothing.
He's gutted. That's why. He's gutted.
Devastating. But if I was a Tottenham supporter, I
don't
know if I could still. I don't know. You still support your club, of course you do. But I'd be really hurting right now. I'd be thinking, mate, I'm going to just forget it for a bit.
Yeah.
The Liverpool one got me because they've stuck yellow roses in the background, which are supposed to sort of sentiment, being apologetic or sort of.
I didn't even clock that. That's interesting. My God.
People were
thought
saying
of everything,
about
didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, as a team that play in red, why would you have yellow roses in the background? But,
it's mental.
And if he's not reading off a cue, he's definitely reading off a cue.
Oh God, absolutely. And what was it? On TalkSport, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Simon Jordan's the
come back
bloke.
to that, but
Simon Jordan. I love
yeah.
Simon Jordan.
Yeah,
I really do. I know he gets a bad rap, but every time he speaks, I'm like, my God, you've got no he's got no filter. He's got no filter, and it also
it's a nail on the head 9 times out of 10, though.
He's like, yeah, exactly, and he's an owner. He was an owner of a club in the Premier League, so he knows all these things that go on, like the backhanders.
Any BS, does he?
Yeah, he doesn't, and I love that about him because like you get an insight into how the football world goes about their business, and you can see it. FIFA's a corrupt organisation. The UEFA are corrupt as well, and it's like it's backhanders everywhere. And like this European Super League is the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be plenty of this going on going forward. It really is.
In my personal opinion, to deal with it, and I don't know if this is too harsh or if anyone agrees, I don't care. This is what I would do today if I was in charge.
Kill them all.
Those 6 would be relegated. Sheffield United would be reinstated, and the top 6 from the Championship would come up and say, right, there you go. And it's not the fans' fault. It's not the club's fault. But at the end of the day, those clubs have got owners. And if those owners can behave like that, the buck stops. They are in charge.
That is never, ever, ever, ever going to happen. And like, I agree with the sentiment, but those 6 clubs, whether we agree with it or not, do bring in the most revenue to the Premier League. And that's like one of the reasons why Sky pay them this amount of money. That's the reason DAZN were going to pump that much money into the European Super League. It's because of those 6 clubs. So if you kind of cut your nose off to spite your face, really, aren't you? Because, you need those clubs in there to make the Premier League, this.
But they're not the top 6 performing teams. They've just...
No, they're not. What Wayne Rooney said.
They've just called themselves the top 6.
They asked Wayne Rooney, what do you think of the breakaway top 6? The top 6 trying to break away from the Premier League, and he said, "Who's the top 6?" Because I totally agree with him.
I agree.
It's true. I know.
I feel sorry for Leicester.
Decided we're the top 6. Why? Yeah, Leicester.
Leicester.
If I was a Leicester,
well, that's it. They won the league.
What else do they need to do?
Yeah, it is not. It is mad.
It's
but
mad.
Like, let's go
you
back.
Can't just call yourself the top 6. That's the biggest joke for me.
But it's arrogance. It's arrogance.
And I understand.
There's 2 3-letter words. 2 3-letter words that get me. European Super League and Qatar World Cup. If them 2 3-letter words, 3-letter words, 3 words.
Yeah. I completely
don't spell
agree.
Corruption. Both of them spell corruption. And that just shows that as much as UEFA are like, yes, okay, well done, you're in there, this isn't just a case of against clubs now. This is against UEFA.
Yeah.
Okay, you were with us on this Super League. We get that. But there's definitely been bribes somewhere. There's definitely got to be some sort of financial implications for them to say, no, please stay. You will ruin football.
Yeah,
it's madness.
Well,
it's like asking Messi not to leave Barcelona, isn't it? It's mad.
Let's get on to like nicer issues that like the game on Sunday. Like we all of us collectively would be happy with the draw, but how are you expecting Dan for Burnley to set up? Because it is usually a 4-4-2, isn't it? It's pretty structured that way. Who do you think is going to shine in your team? Do you think they're going to play similar to the way they played at Turf Moor when you beat us 2-1? Just go through some of the players that we need to watch out for, really.
Dwight McNeil on his day. I don't really need to say any other than that. He's probably the only flair player we've got. He's old school. He doesn't like to cut in and play like Ian Robben. He likes to get down that wing, beat you at the bar line, and that wing is his own. It's his home. That's where he likes. He likes going back to it, and he likes annoying your defence.
Yeah.
We've seen him turn Trent Alexander-Arnold in a spin this season. He's got to be key. Chris Wood and Matej Vidra up top.
Yeah,
two at the moment.
That's
I
scary.
worry about Wood.
I worry. I'm just. Yeah.
I worry about Wood big time. He's definitely gonna.
No, there's a sentence.
I've heard that once
Coming
today.
from a forward.
Yeah, I think that top two, he's going to give Cody and Bolly nightmares because they don't like physical forwards, and they are very physical, and they're very old school forwards. I really like that that partnership up front, and we're not really used to having two forwards up top to mark, so it's kind of it's a weird one.
It's strange because against Man United we went 4-5-1. Which was very strange for us because we were like, "Whoa, what you doing here?" Like, you
won't need to against Wolves.
I'm trying to think. Like, has Dash had a Peroni before the game? Is he trying to be experimental? Has he gone from Foster's to Peroni? I think, you know what? Change it up a bit.
Change it up. It's the same with us. Like when we went to a back four, it was like this weird like game against Southampton at home, and Nuno just
Peroni's came out that day.
Absolutely. Well, I needed one after that. But like we drew the game 1-1, but it was bizarre because we were like, he's never ever changed it to a back four. But, needs must. Like, we had no centre-backs. So, it's like sometimes you just think to get to a plan B, you have to not have the plan A there at all. You need to start it up. So it's going to be an interesting game, mate. I just thanks for coming on. And
it's been brilliant. Thank you.
No, I've enjoyed us talking about the European Super League as well. Yeah, and fingers crossed for a great game on Sunday. And obviously, we want
to piece would be nice.
It would be.
Yeah,
it would be.
I'll take that. 100%.
Yeah, because I feel as though Burnley, especially with your manager, you deserve to be in the Premier League. And and let's get the fans back in for next season, and let's get rid of this season.
100%.
Absolutely. 100%. And fingers crossed.
Stop the count.
Stop it. We're finished. We can have Sean Dyche at Burnley, can have Nuno at Wolves, get all our players back, and jobs are good. Nice one.
Absolutely.
Cheers. Cheers. And if you would like people to watch you on your channel, I'm gonna big it up. We'll put it in the comments. It's the CricketFieldEnd YouTube channel, and it's really, I had such a laugh, mate. So thanks for having me on, and fingers crossed we can do it again sometime.
100%. Thanks very much, guys.
Pleasure. All right, so you've been watching Wandering Wolf.